Hello guys! In this video I'm gonna show you guys how to master the Visual Studio 2019 for C++ programming. So let's open. If you don't have the Visual Studio 2019 installed, see my other video. Okay, and it's very simple to install. So let's go ahead and create the new project. Choose console applications, okay, because this one is gonna give you an example with all the libraries, everything you need to compile your C++ code is way better than the empty project. So make sure you always select console application. So give a name to your project. So this is gonna be project 1. Let's say. You don't need to select this option because this option is going to generate another folder inside your project folder. So it's much better to have only one inside. So now that we have a project, you guys can see at the screen, we have on the left side the canvas. The canvas is the place where your source code is gonna appear. In tabs here on the left side you can see there's only one tab, project 1. So if you have more files, all the files gonna appear here if you open them. Okay. At the bottom you have your output. This is where your code is gonna compile and show warnings or errors. Okay, and the most important part of this IDE on this canvas actually is on the right side here, the Solution Explorer. This is where you can see all your files, all your resources, all your header files, everything's gonna be here. So this is the most important part because this is your project folder. You see, if you for some reason you don't see this Solution Explorer with the source files folder and or your project folder, that means is not prepared to compile C++ code. So what I want to show you is if you expand the source files, you can see that you have only one file, project 1, and this file is showing here. If you close, let's say you close your source file, don't be worried, because the Project Explorer is going to show you that the files are here. You double click on it, you're going to go back to see your files. And let's say if you close by mistake everything, if you close your IDE by mistake. So you always can go back to the original step. So in this case, I'm closing everything I have on my screen. So there's a very simple shortcut you can go to make it back. So how can you make it back? You go Window, and there's an option here under the window menu, reset my window layout, and you hit yes. So see, everything is back to the original part. But you might ask, how about the solution? The solution is not appearing here because I didn't compile any code yet, and I messed it up with my IDE. So what I can do now that I have everything back on my screen, I can just go ahead and compile this code. So go build, and then build your solution. Okay, the first time you compile your code is going to always be build. But let's say the next one you edit your code and add more code. So what you should do is just hit rebuild solution. Okay, but in this case, because it's the first time, we're going to hit build solution. And now the output's back. Here in the output, we can notice that the code is compiling here down below. See, my code project 1 CPP is the same file. So now I have to make sure that the file is correct and syntax correctly. So in this case, everything is correct because I can see here one succeed. So that means my executable file is done for me to run it. So what I can do is go to the menu back again, go debug, and then there's an option here, start without debugging, or you can just hit Control key plus F5. Okay, so let's hit it, and you can see now we have our solution here, hello world. This is something this code is doing, okay? So let's close. So this is the very basic steps. Again, remember, Canvas, Solution Explorer, and output. So let's say now I have a code that I want to import to my project. So let's say I don't want to run this project anymore. Again, you guys can expand this code, add more lines. Okay, so let's say standard, cout, more code. This is my second line or something like this. You can just, again, rebuild, right? Because we added more code, we hit save. Okay, let's see if I'm missing something. Oh, it's standard, yes. I'm gonna save again, and I'm gonna hit build, rebuild, because this is now I just added code, so this is the rebuilding my solution. See, rebuild. I don't need to build again, and I just hit now debug and start without debugging. You guys can see now we have the 2 lines of my code. So this is a very simple example. Again, now let's pretend I have another project done and I want to run or import to this code here. So what I can do is on the Project Explorer, we have to understand the folders. Okay, the source files is the place you can put all your source files. Your main code is going to be here. So the file that contains the main function should be inside the source files. Okay, what you can do is there's no problem if you want to add everything here inside, even the header files and your source files. Let's say you have a text file that you want to read it, you can also add it in the same folder, but there's a special place to add them. Let's say resource files, you can add your txt files from read from a text file, and if you have a file with functions that we call libraries or header files, you can add the header files here inside this folder for your project. Okay, but let's say you're just running this code to give somebody your source code and your header files. You don't want to be giving this Visual Studio project to somebody else, just the source files. What you can do is first let's understand what it's doing here. You can find under the project folder, actually project inside the Solution Explorer, the folder in your computer. If you right click, go to Open Folder in File Explorer, the second last option, you're going to be able to see where this project is located. So see, we have here our project1.cpp is the same file here, project1.cpp, and all the other files that are necessary to run this project. Okay, so let's say I want to add some files to this project. What I can do is, first, let me minimize this. If you right click over the source files folder, you can add, let's say, a header file. If you want to split your file into 2, you can add a new item and then select a header file. Let's say this is a project 1, it's going to be project1.cpp. Okay, you can just do the, oh sorry, it's .h. Okay, project1.h and add it. So now I have 2 files. Okay, I have my CPP and I have my header files. If I want to write all my functions, my classes on the .header, I can, and just call the main function or make a driver out of this project1.cpp. I have a project done with all the resources, so let's try to import them. Let's say I did in Xcode or I did in Eclipse, and I want to migrate to this project environment. What I should do is delete everything you have inside the folder. So right click, you can select and right click remove, and you can just remove from here. You can delete from the folder itself. So now I have 2 files inside my folder. Okay, project1.cpp, project1.h. If I hit delete, I'm going to delete from the original folder. If I just hit remove, those files are going to still there, remain there. So let's do one by time. So let's try first just to remove the .h from here. Just remove it. So if you just remove, it's not linked to your project anymore, but the file remains on the project folder. Okay, see? Here I have the project1.h. So then I have to go manually on my system and delete it. Okay, but how about using the other option? If you right click over the source file and you hit remove and then delete, the delete is going to delete also remove from your project, but also delete from the original project folder. So I don't have anything in my project folder. So what I'm going to do is I have here that I prepared previously a code just for us to import this code. So let's open this in downloads. So I did a very simple solution here for one of the codes I'm a TA for. So let me copy and paste these 4 files. So I have a class, I have a driver, and I have a class implementing those 2 files. Okay, so I have the functions and actually the prototypes here in the class, and then I have the implementation on this file. And I also have a text file with some the states and some information on integer. So I'm desired to read. So let me copy and paste all these files. So I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste this inside my project folder. So this is my project folder. Professor Rafael, how can I find this project folder again? So you just go there. Okay, right click over the project name. Okay, and the second last option is open folder in File Explorer. Click on it. Okay, this is your folder. So then you can copy and paste your files to that folder. So let's copy and paste these files to this folder. Copy and then paste here. You might ask, so now I'm ready? No, those files are only inside the project folder, but they are not linked or connected to your project itself. So what you should do is go back to the Visual Studio and you can right click over source files and you're gonna add existing items. So those files they exist inside my project folder. So what I'm gonna do is select all those files that I just added. So this one plus this one, this one. So I hit Control key, then you can select as many as you wanted. So I'm gonna select these 4 files just added and add to my project. See, now I have my implementation file from my class, prototypes and the class itself, and also I have a driver to run it and test it. Okay, yeah, this might happen sometimes because this were using another operation system, was Linux, so they have to adjust some the ASCII code to be able to run here inside. So just hit yes to normalize all the different ASCII notation you have from different operating systems. So now this is ready to go. So you just save all. So this is the save all option. Okay, I have all my files and also have a text file that I'm gonna read from this file, from this project. So what I need to do is I'm gonna build the solution or rebuild my solution because I didn't leave project 1. So they're gonna build all the files that are needed. So if you see here, I have all the CPPs are compiled. So everything's correct. You just hit debug and start without debugging. See, so everything was done. I have my output here, and I also probably now I have another file inside my project folder because I was saving this in a file, now an output file. So this is my output as well. So I have another file written on my project folder. So this is the way you can import another project to your project folder. It's very simple. Just make sure you're using this right click to link your files using new item or or adding existing items. This is the correct way to attack. So what you can do now is we can, let's say we wanna put these files in the correct place because I'm gonna give somebody else this project to run it. So in a Visual Studio as well. So what you can do is let's do something different now. So now I'm gonna delete everything again. Remove and delete. Okay, so now I don't have anything but the output file that I just ran. What I can do is let me copy back and delete this output file. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste all the files again, And now I want to put each file in that respective folder. So in this case, I'm going to add the source files here. So add, again, right click over source files, add existing items. In this case, I'm going to add all the source files, the CPP ones. Okay, so then I have all my source files under the source files folder. My resource files, right click, you can do the same. So resource file would be, in this case, is going to be my txt file. So I add existing item, and my resource file is going to be my txt file. And how about my header files? I have my class file implemented under this header file.h. So again, right click under header file, add an existing item, and I'm going to select the .h file. So this is the correct way you should implement a C++ project in Visual Studio. I have my header files under the header files folder, resource files under resource files folders, and the source files under the source files folders. What I should do is just double click on my main function. Again, the same problem, you guys just saw it because of different operating systems. Okay, and then I have my code. What I'm going to do is now I'm going to save all, because now I have a different configuration here, different setup. So build. So we're going to rebuild my solution. And Visual Studio found my two source files. I just need to debug and start without debugging. And everything runs the same way again. I run all my tests. This is my output. And I have probably a new file now with the output inside the project folder. See, this is my output file with an array and all the states with some modifications. Very simple, very. I hope you guys are enjoying this video. See you next time. Thank you.